Sarah, welcome to our series, to Migro Culture Percentage Classic, or Migro Classics.
Thank you. Great to be here.
I can still feel the adrenaline running through your veins. Congratulations, it was a wonderful concert tonight.
Thank
It was your second concert now here in St. Gallen with Vivaldi.
I love this piece. I love this piece. I'm having so much fun on this tour. You know, I love Switzerland, and being here on tour with this really beautiful orchestra playing Vivaldi, you know, it's the best of every single world that you can think of. You know, it's such a fun tour, it's not even work.
Yeah, well, it is 4 concerts in a row, actually, one after the other. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But why do you think that a piece which is now nearly 300 years old, it's been written 287 years back, it's still so popular, modern, and exciting?
It is. You know, the 4 seasons, you know, what I love about the piece is that it's one of those very popular, very accessible pieces. You know, people who are not musicians, even if they have 0 musical training, they will recognize certain themes and melodies of the 4 seasons. And it's stood the test of time. It's been around forever. It's one of the most beautifully written pieces. And, you know, people think, oh, it's Vivaldi, it's Baroque, it's very simple, when in fact it's just full of technical challenges. There is a lot of ornamentation going on, and it's one of those really simple, pure, beautiful melodies that, if you're not careful, can go into autopilot. So every single step of the way, you need to take such care of every note to make sure that it sounds fresh and new, and every time that you play it, even especially if you're playing it 4 evenings in a row, you know, in 4 different Swiss cities, you know, you want to bring something new to it every single evening.
How do you motivate yourself? I mean, you have many concerts, I guess, something like probably over 100 per year.
Yes, I do over 100 a year.
And how do you motivate yourself each time to maybe look at the piece in a different way and play it, of course, in a different way? Is it something which is given to you as a talent, because it's a question of energy, not only of technical perfection? How do you do this?
Well, I'm very careful about what I program. I make sure that every piece that I stand on stage with is a work that I genuinely love to play. You know, that whole theory of thinking, oh, you should learn everything, you should play everything. Well, I feel that my responsibility to the audience and the orchestra is that I should give the best version of myself to them. So I want to make sure that I love the piece that I'm performing. So I'm very careful and very selective over the repertoire that I program. I'm also very careful not to program the same piece for too many weeks in a row. Because if you're playing Vivaldi 4 times in a row, that's fine. We're doing it 4 times in 4 days, that's okay. But if you're doing it for 20 concerts in a row over a full month, you know, you're human, so you are gonna get a little tired. So I make sure that I put Brahms in between, and Mendelssohn and Sibelius, and to mix it up a little bit, to keep yourself alert, and also to, you know, just give it a breather sometimes, because these pieces, they're masterpieces and they're beautiful, but, you know, they also need to breathe a little bit sometimes.
You were just saying to keep yourself alert. I think you're also keeping the public alert, because what I noticed today and yesterday, and in general in your playing, is you're taking risks. You're taking lots of risks. I'm not talking about technical risks, of course, you always do, and every great virtuoso has done this, but musically, and each time is a little different. Do you do this on purpose, or is it something which comes more naturally to you? Because taking risks actually is also something very exciting, because you stay awake.
Exactly, exactly. No, taking risks can be a fantastic thing if it turns out in your favor when you're on stage, and you never want to be stupid about it. But I think with a piece like Vivaldi, where it's such a chamber piece,
yeah.
You know, we're doing this without a conductor. We're doing it with a reduced small chamber, you know, string orchestra. So it really is such an intimate setting on stage. And when you have a small group like this, you really can do different things every day. You know, every rehearsal I've had with this group and every concert so far has been so different, and we don't plan it. You know, we do of course go through sections and make sure that we're in sync where we need to be, but you know, things happen when you're on stage and everyone's spontaneous, and these musicians, they're phenomenal. You know, they take risks with you.
Yeah, they take,
you know,
yeah.
they're so musical. They're so musical. Like they're overflowing with musicality. And then you have this awesome concertmaster, you know, who is sort of the backbone. You know, you can see that he's. You know, I tend to look a lot at the cellist who's playing, because there's a lot of stuff in unison with the cello in this piece. But I can feel the concertmaster's eyes on me and on my bow, and I don't have to worry at all because I trust him completely. And that sort of trust usually comes with a lifetime and years and years and years of playing with the group. Now this is my first time with the group, and it's astonishing that they have this incredible ability to just sort of let you relax and take risk and just know that you can trust them completely.
Love at first sight.
Almost. More like second sight. More like second sight.
Well, it has something to do with
Yeah.
I guess, anyhow, with trust.
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess that, I mean, you started very early, at the age of 3, as I recall. And I guess this question is stupid, just to ask, what is music to you? What does music mean to you? Because I think this is your life, basically.
It is my life. You know, I can't imagine my life without music. Of course, this is what I do. This is my career. This is a huge part of my life. But even if I were not a professional violinist, I would hope that music would have been some sort of figure in my life. I come from a musical family, so I think it was inevitable that I would become a musician. But, you know, I think music, it has this ability, you know, I'm not going to say it's, you know, those corny lines that everybody uses, you know, it's the one and only universal language, which it is, but I also think that it has this ability to reach into your soul, right? Actually reach in and grab your soul and make you experience what the composer wanted you to experience. Now, if it's a piece, a bubbly, happy piece like the Vivaldi or the Mendelssohn Concerto, that's one thing. If the audience leaves a concert and they're smiling and they want to come back to the next concert, that is fantastic. But then there are pieces like Shostakovich and Prokofiev, and pieces that literally drain every ounce of energy out of you, and it's as if somebody reaches inside your guts and just wrenches out your heart, and you try to give every part of yourself to the audience, and you try to make sure that they feel what you're feeling when they leave the concert hall. And if that means that they're exhausted, if they are emotionally drained from having listened to the Shostakovich Concerto.
But content.
Exactly, and content. And hopefully, you know, my goal is that even after the concert is over and I've left town, that they will, the next day, you know, still be thinking about, you know, sections of the Shostakovich or of the Prokofiev, and think, you know, there is something really magical about classical music that is really almost intangible.
You're saying, thinking about the composers, thinking, of course, about your performance, because a composer would not live without interpreters. We forget sometimes about it. But I think it's probably even more. My teacher, Alexis Weissenberg, piano teacher, was always saying, it is probably, when you learn a piece, you learn probably more about yourself than you learn about the composer. And I think what you do and what you did tonight and yesterday, I mean, you've been doing this all your life probably, is also that you teach something to people, or maybe teaching is the wrong word. You bring something in vibration which they learn about themselves through music. And I think this is so amazing, because music is actually the most amazing art form, because it is abstract. There's nothing more abstract, because it's just finished in time.
Exactly.
So, and this ability, and to come back to my first question is, do you know where you get this force or this strain? Because I think it's also a question of energy, to bring this each time up and to give it to the public.
No, I think to be a performer of any kind, you know, you need to have that extra sort of turbo energy, you know, because sometimes you're so jet lagged, you know, you're truly and honestly so jet lagged, and your body is just physically tired. It's just tired, and it's fatigued, and your muscles ache from playing so much. But you get on stage and that just erases itself, you know. You go on stage and I know you're there to serve the music, and this is the coolest job in the entire world because it's not a real job. You know, you go on stage and you make music. You make music, and you do it. Yes, of course, you know the audience is there, but you also do it for yourself. You know, you do it to enrich your soul, and it, in a way, it energizes you. You know, I finish a concert. Of course, you're tired after a concert, but then you're re-energized, and you're ready for the next one. And you know, I would think that you know this profession of being a musician, you know, the performing part is beautiful. You know, I love every single thing about performing. Of course, now being a soloist, that means you need to travel, and every third day you're in a different city, a different country, and you live basically out of airports. You know, you live in airports, you're always on a flight. Hotels, you're never really in a home, you're always in hotels. So it's a very sort of peculiar lifestyle, you know. And
there's probably the downside to it in a way.
It is a downside, you know, and the thing is that you can get kind of spoiled living out of hotels, you know. You sort of forget how to do things for yourself. You know, in my case, I've been living in hotels my entire life, essentially. So if I do go home, you know, you realize, oh, I can't call room service. I actually have to cook for myself if I'm hungry, right? And if I need to send a package to someone, you can't just ring up the concierge and ask for help. You actually need to drive yourself to the post office, right? So, you know, if you're not careful, you do get a little bit spoiled, but I also think that, you know, there are pros and cons to everything. You know, you do get to see some of the most spectacular cities in the world. You meet the most fascinating people of all branches of life.
It's an amazing subdued calling card to be a great artist, because you enter any society and you can meet nearly everyone, because you touch people in a different way.
Well, you hope that that is what you ultimately end up doing, because after a while, you know, doing concerts, making recordings, you can't always do it for yourself, you know? It becomes a very sort of a small and a very tiny sort of world if you keep on doing recordings and concerts just for yourself. I think a point comes where you realize that the composer is really the reason that you're there. There is no concert without an audience, you know? And I realize every single night that audience members have a choice. You know, they can go to the movies, they can go to dinner, they can stay home and watch trashy television if they want. You know, they can do whatever they want, and they choose to come to a concert, you know, buy a ticket and listen to an orchestra and listen to watch a conductor and listen to a soloist. So ultimately, I'm you know, obviously very, very grateful to whatever audience that we have, and especially an audience like tonight where we had so many young children, you know, and students and kids, and I'm like, it's past their bedtimes, but they're at a concert and they're alert. You know, they're in the first row, and I can see that they're focused and alert during the entire 4 seasons. That's like 45 minutes of solid playing. And they're just, their eyes are open, and they're watching all the different instruments when they're playing. And it gives me such encouragement to see that there's an audience like that for younger children.
It brings me back, it just crosses my mind, I read somewhere, I don't know if it is true, that you're doing paragliding.
Yes, I do.
And I think you like fast cars too. Is this the other part, sort of keeping the adrenaline high?
You know what, I think part of it is that, you know, and you're the same, I'm sure, anyone who's on stage, anyone who is a performer, we like excitement. You know, we love that.
Become junkies.
You know, as you said, that adrenaline rush. And the thing is that there are times when, if you're not on stage, you want to go home and you want to relax and you want to just, you know, watch TV and just do nothing. But that gets really boring very, very quickly. You know, and you know, you can only go to so many movies, you can only go to so many restaurants, so then you start looking for different things. And for me, you know, I love water sports, I love jet skiing, I love surfing, I love paragliding, and I love going out and doing things. And I have a fantastic younger brother who's even more nuts than I am, you know, and he loves all that stuff. So, you know, we have so much fun doing, you know, doing stuff like that as a family. And then my friends, you know, I have the craziest friends in the world, so they're amazing. So no, life is fun, you know, tomorrow's not guaranteed, right? So yeah, I like to have fun.
Well, we had great fun.
Oh, thank you.
And we enjoyed your playing so much, and I wish you all the best.
Thank
great
you very
successes.
much.
And hopefully you'll come back very soon with our series. Thank
you very much.
I would love that.
I would love that. Thank you very much.